Hey guys, it's Jessica, and today I'm going to share with you guys what I would recommend if you're just starting in makeup. It's kind of my drugstore starter kit. I love watching these kinds of videos, but I've never actually filmed one on my channel. I've been doing this for years. How have I not done one yet? But I know a lot of you guys have been recommending it over the years, and so I finally feel like I found something in every category that I feel really strongly about. So I feel really confident in every single product I'm going to mention to you today. And for some of them, I'm going to have options. So depending on maybe your skin type of thing, I'll have some options for you. I'm using this cute makeup bag. Actually, Elf sent me a long time ago, but the brand is Society 6, but it's this like white marble bag that I've been holding all this stuff in. But I'm going to dump it out and kind of organize it. Let's start with primer, because that is where we would begin. I have two options for you. If you have more oily skin or you have enlarged pores that you're trying to kind of control before you put on foundation, I would recommend the Nyx Pore Filler. It's one of the best pore filling products I've ever tried. It might be the best, other than I really like the Milk makeup stick that I keep mentioning because it's right in front of me. That's amazing, but it's way more expensive. I usually apply it on my nose, even though I have dry skin. I'll put it on my nose and it'll just really fill in that area to make it look more smooth and less texturized. But if you don't have an issue with that, or if you just want something to really kind of beautify your skin and make it look really healthy, I don't want to say dewy, but kind of dewy in a way. So maybe if you have more dry skin, I would recommend the Catrice Prime and Fine Beautifying Primer. This stuff is this pinkish tone. It is so absolutely gorgeous, and it just kind of blends in to make your skin look kind of satiny and just beautified. It's got this soft focus effect where it looks like your skin looks like just beautiful satin, and I love it. And every foundation I put on top of this, or even the pore filler, especially on my nose, ends up looking beautiful. And these are both so inexpensive. So depending on your skin type, or you could get both, because I really do use both in conjunction with each other. So speaking of foundation, my favorite drugstore price foundation is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. It's a really nice foolproof formula. You could have dry skin or oily skin. I think both will like this. It's got medium to high coverage. It's just beautiful packaging. It's got the pump. It's got a glass bottle. It's just an amazing product. It glides on the skin, covers imperfections, and it stays on all day. So, I mean, it's got everything I would ask for in a foundation. I like this more than pretty much every high-end foundation I've ever tried. So regardless of if this video would be drugstore or high-end, it wouldn't matter. I would probably still recommend the same foundation. I love this stuff. For powder, I don't have a mattifying powder. I genuinely don't own one. Now, if I were to recommend one, it would be the one I've used since I first started with makeup years and years ago, which is the Rimmel Stay Matte. I know a lot of people recommend that for a good reason, because it's not a thick formula, meaning that it'll really quickly soak up any oil in your T-zone without making your skin look cakey. And that's why that would be the one I would recommend. Now, the powder foundation that I would recommend to make your skin look healthy is this Physicians Formula 1. It's their Youthful Wear Cosmeceutical Youth Boosting Powder. They have a matte finish, which I don't own, but if you wanted a mattified look, maybe you are oily, go for that one. If you're like me and your skin tends to be a little bit more dry, get the Illuminating formula, because this has these, like, I don't know what it is about this stuff, but I keep reaching for it. It just gives you this healthy, again, that satiny look. It's not dewy. I'm wearing it today. It's not necessarily dewy, but it's just healthy, and I love that about this stuff. Or if you wanted a loose powder, I know a lot of people, especially if you're a beginner, you don't need this stuff, but it does do a great job of not just mattifying, but kind of making all of your foundation look seamless, so you can't see different areas where there's blush and bronzer. It kind of blends it all together, in my opinion. And my favorite drugstore loose powder is the NYC Smooth Skin Loose Face Powder. I've been using this now for probably a couple years. I think I decluttered it long ago just because I had so many loose powders, but I ended up repurchasing it this year because I felt like I missed it. It's translucent, but it's not a white. It's more of a beige, and I think that at least if you've got a similar skin tone to mine, it looks a little bit more natural than like a stark white like a lot of other drugstore brands sell. So I really, really like this stuff. You could use a big fluffy brush with it. You could use, like if you wanted to buy a velour puff, you can buy them at the drugstore. You can also just buy them on Amazon for pretty cheap. Either way you apply it, it really does a great job. So for concealer, I have two. If you like more of a light, everyday, breathable kind of coverage that's kind of brightened, but it's not a really high coverage concealer, you would love the Maybelline Dream Lumi. This product surprised me because you just kind of twist it up into the brush and you apply it, and it just has this beautiful brightening effect It blends in so seamlessly. You could just use your finger and it just sinks right in, and it's just so nice and healthy. Especially if you're younger, you would love this. But even if you're older, I just really like it. When I'm just trying to do a nice look where I look put together, but it's not like full-on glam look, I love this stuff. I've repurchased this a million times. But if you do need that higher coverage, this is the NYX Gotcha Covered Concealer. It is incredible. It's a really thick formula, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but what I would say is if you are gonna use this or anything like this, it's really tacky and dewy looking, but it's got incredible coverage. So if you put it on your under eye, you will need something to set it with. So you could use your NYX loose powder. You could use this. I've done that a lot before too because it is brightening. But if you don't set a thick formula like this, it will just sink into your fine lines and you'll constantly be dabbing because it'll constantly creep into there. It needs something to set it with. So what I would recommend is actually another NYX product. This is the NYX Hd Finishing Powder. This is in Banana. It's a little bit lighter of a yellow than most banana powders are, but it does such a great job. It brightens the area, but it also helps prevent that creasing under your eyes. So I love this stuff. I end up reaching for it all the time just because it's so quick. I don't have to worry about having a loose powder out of any kind. I can just grab this. I'll usually use like my Real Techniques, if I can find it. My Real Techniques little brush that looks like this. The name has rubbed off. I've had this forever. Just swirl it in there, swirl it on my under eye, and I'm good to go. If you're a beginner, I have an awesome bronzer for you. This is the ever popular Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. They have a light and this is the light one. I think they have a medium and maybe a dark. I know they have at least 2 shades. But this is such a great bronzer because it's so creamy. It's not so dark that you're gonna look like a clown if you don't apply it perfectly, and I love that about this. It smells really strongly of like coconuts and stuff, which I like, but if you're sensitive to smell, you might not love it. But I love this stuff. It looks so beautiful on. It stays on all day. These Physicians Formula powders come with a little brush underneath, so does the Youthful Wear one I showed you earlier. This one actually is a sponge though, so you can kind of sponge it on. I've used it with this. It actually works pretty well. Not my favorite way to apply it, but not terrible. So I love that bronzer. The blushes that I would recommend are the e.l.f. Studio blushes. I really like this one. It's in the shade Mellow Mauve, but they've got a million, so you can find one that suits your skin tone. But these are really inexpensive. They stay on all day. They're really pigmented, so you want to make sure that you use a light hand if it's a brighter or deeper blush than your skin tone. This one, I don't really have to use light hand because it is not that, you know, wham in your face compared to my skin tone, but I love these blushes. And of course, you could always get like an e.l.f. duo. They've got a million of those where it's a blush and bronzer duo, but I know a lot of people recommend those, so I wanted to offer maybe a different option for you. I have 2 highlighters to recommend depending on what you like. If you don't know what you like, then you'd probably want a powder. Like if you've never used it before, powders are great because you really can't, I mean, you can get too much. But I love this Physicians Formula one. I'm mentioning a lot of Physicians Formula, so I want to say wait until like CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, they'll have like 40% off sales for Physicians Formula. Wait to get them because otherwise they're kind of pricey for drugstores. So I would say wait for one of those sales or maybe a BOGO sale to get these. But I love this Pure Nude highlighter. It's got all these different shades. You can swirl it all together. Highly, highly pigmented. You could get just the deeper tones, just the lighter tones. You could use this as eyeshadow if you wanted, but it's just such a beautiful highlighter. Oh my gosh. It's one of those that totally took me by surprise by how much I loved this, but I can't stop using it. And I've been using it now for probably half a year. So I love this stuff. But what I'm wearing on my cheeks today as my highlight is this L'Oreal True Match Lumi. I think this stuff is amazing and I feel like no one's talking about it. But if you've heard of like the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, this is the same thing, just a different, you know, different shades. So this is in the shade Ice. They have a couple shades, so you'd have to pick it out based on how deep your skin tone is or the undertone you'd like. But this one is a very pearly white one. But what I do, and I'll show you me applying it, I'll just spread it out, dip a brush into it, and just kind of stipple it onto my cheekbones. I think it looks really nice. If you've got dry skin, you don't want to put a ton of powder all over your face, especially like in the winter time. So, you know, when I can avoid it, I'll use cream products so that I can avoid using more powder on my face because I feel like that just accentuates my dry skin. So this is one of those things that I love using, especially in the winter or when my skin is really dry, because it does such a nice job of illuminating the areas I want illuminated, but not making my skin, like it's not accentuating dryness. I love this stuff and it's gonna last me forever. All right, so let's talk about brows really quickly and then we'll skip to eyes and then we'll do lips. So my favorite drugstore brow product has to be the Maybelline Brow Satin. Sometimes it's called like a brow duo. They're like two different names. Maybe it's called Define and Fill or something like that. But on one side it has a pencil, which you know you use to kind of fill in your brows. And then if you need more, on the other side there's this little sponge that kind of dips into the powder and it just really lightly applies brow powder. So you could use either side. I feel like if you're a beginner or even if you're just wanting a great drugstore option, this is an amazing one because it has both and you don't have to buy separate brushes for it, separate things. The only thing you might need is like a spoolie. e.l.f. sells a $1 spoolie you could buy to kind of brush through when you're done, because that is the one thing I wish this had like 3 ends somehow so that I could have that as well. But I love this combination. I've never seen anyone do anything like this and it's an amazing product. All right, so on to eyes. So the primer, you're not gonna be surprised because everyone recommends this, that I would recommend is the Milani Eyeshadow Primer. It's foolproof, it's better than the high-end versions of it. You know, I've got the Shadow Insurance from Too Faced or the Urban Decay ones. This is better. You just apply it, you know, all over your lid and a little bit goes a long way. I got a little bit too much when I was applying it today. But it holds on to your shadow. Like I said, I'm wearing it today under these shadows. It really does make a difference. Like if you did one eye with a primer and one eye without, you would tell the difference right away. Eyeshadow applies better on top of it and it stays longer. And this stuff is amazing and really cheap. And again, I've had this forever. It lasts for so long. So I have 2 drugstore palettes to recommend. I really thought long and hard about which palettes I would recommend because there are a lot of good options. But I wanted to find 2 that I felt were really, really good compared to all of the ones I've tried. And I still feel like there were like 3 or 4 that were really close contenders. But these are the ones I thought, you know, if you're a beginner or you're really trying to get the most bang for your buck, which ones would I say? And these are the 2 I picked. So the first one I picked is what I'm wearing today. And this is the CoverGirl True Naked Nudes palette. And I actually filmed a quick tutorial of me applying the eye look I'm wearing today using this. This is the only thing I used on my eyes today. And I wanted to show you guys what it looks like in action. So if you're interested in seeing that, I'll put it at the very end of this video. If you don't care about the rest, then go ahead and fast forward. But I did do a quick tutorial with this so you can see how I created the look that's on my eyes using this palette. I think this is a great palette because it's pigmented. It does kick up a lot of powder. So you wanna, you know, if you're using your brush, you wanna blow on it or like tap it off, any excess, whatever you wanna do. I know some people get so freaked out if you blow on it. But regardless, tap off the excess and then apply it. You might have a little fallout, which you'll see in the tutorial I did, but you know, grab a big fluffy brush, just wipe it away and it usually gets rid of it. But they've got enough mattes and shimmers in this to create a lot of looks. And actually, I didn't use it in the tutorial, but the sponge that comes with it's pretty good because it has one that comes to a really thin tip. So it's great for doing like maybe if you're lining with shadow your lower lash line, or maybe you're doing it on your upper. It's really good for that. So I love this. I've tried the roses one and you know whatever other ones they have. All of them are good. I just feel like the nudes one is a really classic set of colors. The next one I would recommend is the Milani, if you can find it, because I know some people can't find Milani where they live, and that's why I wanted to have more than one. But it's the Must Have Naturals Everyday Eyes. The palette is called Must Have Naturals. That's the shade. And talking about bang for your buck, if you're into neutrals or you're a beginner, I think this is great because it has a matte black. It's got, you know, some nice shimmers. It's got a nice medium matte brown, a kind of medium bronzy shade, and then like a matte light beige. It's really got everything you need. I think the only thing I wish it had is maybe one warmer brown that was matte as well, but it's a beautiful palette. Really, every single shadow is super pigmented. They blend beautifully, just the same as this. I really like both of these palettes. So my favorite I've got a lot, but again, I had to narrow it down. I love this Rimmel Scandaleyes Kohl waterproof pencil. It's really, really creamy. Just a pencil liner. I use it on my waterline. It has not budged in hours. I've been filming videos for quite a while today. It just stays on all day. If you want it in your waterline, it will stay there. It's so creamy, so amazing. Like it says waterproof. It's so cheap. Again, this is one that I would recommend high-end or not, drugstore or not, I would still recommend it. My favorite cream liner is this L'Oreal Lacquer liner. I've bought this a ton. I just recently repurchased it. and I had missed it so much because it's so black, it stays on all day, and it's just amazing. It's better. I've tried so many high-end ones, and this is better than all of them. So I would recommend this, again, regardless of drugstore or not, just like the last one. Amazing product. And it comes with a little brush. I don't have it with me right now, but the brush that it comes with is actually pretty good, so you could totally use that with it. My favorite drugstore liquid liner is this Essence one. This happens to be waterproof. I need to just get the regular one. I bought this waterproof one for like a waterproof test of a bunch of waterproof drugstore products. If you're interested, I will link it below. But it's a felt tip, which again, if you're a beginner, I think is the easiest way to apply liquid liner. The ones that are brushes are just so tricky because they can fling really easily. I just don't like them. I feel like felt tips are just easier. Now, I feel like the liquid ones might last longer than a felt tip does, but this is so inexpensive. It's a couple dollars. It is amazing. I need to buy a new one that's not waterproof. And this is what I use, by the way, to get my, whether I do like a smaller wing or a bigger wing, it's just the felt tip is so flawless at doing that. My favorite drugstore mascara is the CoverGirl Supersizer. Totally took me by surprise. It looked so silly and gimmicky to me. I didn't like the packaging. I thought the brush was weird because it had, you know, two of the four sides were like bare and all it was product with no little brush, little hairs. And then the other two sides had these rubbery little things. I'm like, what? But you use the rubbery little hairs, I don't know what to call them, like they're not fibers either, but the rubbery little spiky parts to really comb through your lashes and push your lashes up. Then you use the bare parts that have just product and no little sticky, spiky things to really get a bunch of product on it. And then you flip back to the hairs to brush through. I mean, you just go back and forth and it ends up pushing your lashes up, separating them, volumizing them, and it actually holds a curl. It's amazing. So highly recommend this. Let's move on to lips, shall we? So the lip liner I'm gonna recommend is one you have to buy online. And I almost didn't mention it. I almost just said I don't have a favorite drugstore lip liner because as I've tried more and more, I've kind of realized even ones I've liked in the past, like I tried the Rimmel ones and I liked those okay. But as I tried it more and more, I realized it didn't stay in place as much as I needed a lip liner to stay in place. So the only one I found that's really inexpensive but is unbelievable quality is the ColourPop Lippy Pencil. But this one's in the shade Bound. It's sharp and kind of weird. But I'm wearing it today, it just doesn't move. And it's so inexpensive. I think it's like $5. But again, it's inconvenient because you have to buy it online. Otherwise, I would own every shade. I only own this one. But it's so, so good. It's what I wish every lip liner ever was like. I've tried MAC ones. They're not as good as this. This is the best. So if you can, you know, purchase it online, go for it. If not, I really have not found a drugstore liner that I love as much as this one. I've got these Maybelline color blurs that I love so much. These are they've got a decent shade range. I wish they had more nude options, but it's basically this almost lip liner. It's thicker than a lip liner. And so you could use it alone, you know, you could line and then fill in. But it's a really thin formula with a good amount of color, really comfortable to wear, and it kind of looks matte without having to wait for it to dry. So it's a really quick, foolproof lip color. I end up buying more and more shades of this because I just love the formula. It's comfortable to wear and it stays on for a decent amount of time and it's just quick. So I really like those, highly recommend. If you're into more of a pigmented look than those, I really like the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte glosses. They're not 100% matte by any means, but they're this nice whipped texture that is just so, you know, it really packs a punch when it comes to color, but they're so comfortable. So, so comfortable. They've got a good amount of shades. This one's in the color 318 Bare Attraction. I have this red one as well. I feel like I have a couple other shades, but they're like at work. I've got some in my purse because they're so easy for every day. This is this red one in Shanghai Scarlet. And again, they're just comfy, whipped, beautiful pigmentation. I do think you need a lip liner with them. Highly recommend a lip liner with them, but they're beautiful. And if it's a great alternative to all the really drying liquid lipsticks, you know what I mean? I feel like so many of them, your lips feel crazy and dry, but these are so comfortable. But they have that similar look to them. The best way I could describe it is it makes your lips look pillow soft. And if that's the look you're going for, you will love these. So the drugstore lip gloss I would recommend are the Rimmel Oh My Gloss glosses. These used to be their Stay Glossy. So I love the shade. It's actually in the Stay Glossy called Blushing Belgraves. I also recommend the Non-Stop Glamour. It's more peachy. They're just comfortable. They're really shimmery and beautiful. They look great on their own, but they also look beautiful on top of things. So this is a great purse gloss that you can toss in, throw on your lips when you want to look more put together, but you don't want to have to fuss like I am today with lipstick at all. These are beautiful. So I just think it's a comfortable formula. It's not too sticky, but it's not drying. It's kind of right in between, and that's why I recommend it. Okay, I have 2 lipstick formulas and then a lip balm to recommend. So I love the Revlon Super Lustrous lipsticks. This one happens to be Pink in the Afternoon, one of my favorite shades, but I really like Cherries in the Snow is so beautiful if you like a blue toned red. This is just a nice everyday pink. There are so many. This shade range is unbelievable. They have some that are like historic shades that have been around since they first started a long, decades and decades ago. Like Hollywood actors would wear it and in their advertisements and all those cool ones. You can look all that up. It's really interesting. But they have so many. They have different formulas. They've got the cream. They've got mattes. They've got luster. And then I think maybe 1 or 2 more. But they've got all different kinds, all different shades. I mean, it's kind of overwhelming but exciting. You could look up some swatch videos of these if you wanted. I don't remember if I've done I think I might have done a swatch video. If I have, I will link it below. But I love this formula. It's just comfortable, great pigmentation. It's not going to stay on all day, but most lipsticks don't. You are supposed to reapply. So I highly recommend. The only other lipstick line I would recommend, again, is an e.l.f. product. So sometimes you can find them in the store, sometimes you have to find them online. It's their Velvet Matte line. This is a newer line, but they're so amazing, comfortable. Velvet Matte is perfect because they're not super drying, but they are matte. So they're comfortable and matte. This one's in the shade Deep Burgundy. They've got, not a huge shade range yet, but I think because it's a newer product, they're coming out with more and more. I love this line. Again, you'd still have to reapply throughout the day, but it's nice. But Revlon you can find in any store, and there's so many shade options. So I love this Vaseline. This is newer to me, but I fell in love with it. So if you're looking for a quick lip balm, as you're getting ready to kind of moisturize your lips, I love this Vaseline Lip Therapy in Rosy Lips. It's got a little pink tone to it. It makes your lips look so healthy and beautiful. It almost looks like there's something on your lips, but it's just a lip balm. It's so beautiful. And the few times I've worn this to work, people are like, what's on your lips? It looks so nice. And I'm thinking it's literally Rosy Vaseline. That is awesome. So really inexpensive, and it does have a slight rose scent. So if maybe you might not like that, then you wouldn't like this. I think they have other ones, like other scents or whatever, but I really like the Rosy one. So that was everything in my Drugstore Makeup Starter Kit. I thought about setting sprays, but I really feel like I haven't found a setting spray that I feel really strongly about. The L'Oreal Infallible one is good, but it's really pricey for what it is. The Maybelline one is okay as well, but I just didn't feel strongly. So, I guess if I had to recommend one, I might recommend the L'Oreal one because I've tried it the most and it works well, but it's just so pricey. So wait till you get a coupon for that. But hopefully this was helpful for you guys to watch. If you're interested in my other videos, drugstore hauls, all those kinds of things, I will link some of my playlists below. I hope that you'll catch me on social media in the meantime, which is right there on the screen. I love to Snapchat when I'm at the store buying things or when I'm getting something new in the mail from a company or just trying out new products. So if you're interested in seeing those kinds of things in real time, definitely check me out there. Otherwise, I hope you'll subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.